Joining me in the studio is Arnaud Wenger, Group Chief Compliance Officer at Tazapay. Arnaud, welcome to Wall Street to MENA.
Welcome. Thank you very much for...
Yeah,
Yes.
of course. Now let's start with what I just said now in our intro, that Tazapay just closed a Series B extension with Circle Ventures, Coinbase Venture, and also CMT Digital. What does this funding change now for your compliance and licensing roadmap specifically?
So first, this is an incredible trust from our investors to continue and to believe on our Tazapay vision and founders' vision. So the advantage to have this new round is really helping us to accelerate our international expansions, and at the same time also to increase our regulatory controls, our compliance framework and program, and also our innovation and technology program. Altogether will help us to integrate the new markets with the trust and what the regulators are looking for, but also at the end, creating an infrastructure which is stable for and trustable for our customers.
Yeah, and you have an active license application here in the UAE. Where does this stand right now?
This is a very interesting question. On the fact is developing, and we never knows how it will go. But for us, this is a very important point because Dubai and UAE in general are developing a very unique system for the financial innovations, working previously with a strong regulatory vision and also a strong implementation and impact with the industries. So working together, we will be able to have and develop a hub here for developing and committing the regulatory requirements, but also the growth of the financial market of UAE.
How do you describe the process of getting the license here?
Many people will say that it's harder to have a process and to go this, especially when you are global and you are going in different jurisdictions, everyone. At the end is wrong. Each regulator wants only one thing at the end. Develop the local economy, ensure the security for the customers, enable the payments, and ensure that the players who are coming have a strong governance who can enable all of this.
Definitely. So now, what is the biggest hurdle when it comes to regulations? When we're talking about getting a payment license approved in a new market like this one, for example?
The difficulties will be to ensure that we are able to adapt our global model to jurisdictions, which is working probably in a different way from countries to countries. But like I mentioned just previously, everyone wants to have a simple goal. We want the security and safety for our customers. This is what we want to do to enable for the global cross-border payment. So at this level, I would like to say we don't have particular hurdle. We will just have a model. We know where we want to go. We have a product. We are sure about the product, and we will adapt it for each region.
Yeah. And when we compare now the regulation models or regulation framework to other financial centers in the world, let's say, for example, Singapore, and this is like your work, all of it is there. So how do you see it? How do you describe it comparing to Singapore, for example?
The payment of Dubai is really the middle, Dubai, between Europe, Asia, is really the one who can make the liaison between Africa, Europe, and Asia. So they will have the approach where they're taking what is happening in Europe, what is taking in Asia, and ensure that everything can run together. So that's why I was saying that they have a clear vision on the regulatory side where they are going, because they have this global experience they're taking, and they work with the industry very closely to be sure that we are able to develop this. So on this way, it's very easy for us to know where we are going.
Yeah. And actually, we were talking about this in the show as well. Vera just celebrated the 50 companies licensing milestone, actually, and that was last week, probably. Now, we were talking about Singapore, and Tazapay holds license across Singapore, Canada, Australia, United States as well. What makes one jurisdiction's licensing process harder to crack compared to another?
I would not say each jurisdiction has its own view, has its own approach. It might be different financial industry, different approach of an economy, different approach on the risk profile. So it's what you need to understand when you enter. That will be the difficulties. But like I mentioned, First, you need to understand your product. What are you providing? When you know what product, you can make your assessment on the jurisdictions and you will develop your program around this one. So you have a standard, but don't say, I copy-paste my model everywhere. That will never work. You need to be able to adapt to the local process.
And know your product as
Yes.
well. Tazapay also talks about building the bridge for stablecoin to fiat settlement from a compliance standpoint. What has to be true before a stablecoin payment earns the same trust that bank does?
Trust for me is beyond the technology itself. The technology enable you to do the payments. The customers wants to be sure that they can trust the companies, they have security, they know what's the transparency, and the company is reliable of that. It's what usually the traditional bank build with several years. Now the new finance is bringing this another way. But like I said, the technology is just the purpose to do the payments. You need to build the trust, and the trust is the one will enable the adoptions by the customers.
Yeah, of course. Now, for a business in this region moving money across borders today, what is still the biggest single compliance bottleneck?
Fragmentation of regulations. Like I mentioned, it's very difficult sometimes to know where we are going and what they want. Everyone has his own approach. Of course, we are lucky because we have the FATF who is providing certain guidelines. But each regulations, each country have its own view. We saw that exactly with cryptocurrencies and stablecoin as well, how to approach, who follow the travel rules. Does this one regulations follow or not? That will be the bottleneck on our side, and what we have to find from compliance view, how we play with that.
Yeah. And last thing, if you had to give just one piece of advice to a fintech founder in this region trying to get licensed here and stay compliant, also, what would that be?
My first and best advice is build your compliance program and advisory first. Don't come just compliance is a cost, which is true at the beginning is cost, and is not only operation. But compliance, when you have it from the beginning, the regulator, the bank partners, and everyone will trust you. That's why we can realize the framework comes from the compliance. So if you have this from the beginning, it will be easier for your journey to continue this. And for most of the payment company, at the end, we need to work with regulators and bank partners. Without that, even if you have license, you can do nothing.
Yeah.
All is about trust.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Anna.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.